So I'm going to start off today with just using my basic foundation primer. This is Mary Kay Foundation Primer. This is just a great base for all your foundations. You just squirt a little bit onto your finger and apply all over your face. Just rub it all over. Make sure you get thorough coverage just all over your face. And that leads into the foundation. Now I've been using Mary Kay foundation. I got it for Christmas. You know, it was about $16 for this, but really you can use whatever foundation that you find that matches your skin tone. Now I'm also using a beauty blender. Now with beauty blenders you want to make sure that you get them nice and wet, and then you proceed to squeeze all the water out, all the excess water out, so they're just nice and damp. Now what I like to do is blot foundation around my face and then use stippling to connect everything together. So we're just going to get this to all of the parts of my face. And the nice thing about the beauty blender is that you really get a good overall coverage, but I have used a brush before, and I've also had some experience with just using my fingers. But when you just use your fingers, it ends up a little streaky. So the brush is also a good way to do this, but I think the beauty blender works the best. So what you're really just doing is taking all of these dots of foundation and making a nice thin layer. And if you find you need any more coverage anywhere, then you can go ahead and put a little bit more on there. The key is just to layer lightly. Now the place I always have an issue with is on my nose. It gets super red throughout the day, especially if any of my makeup comes off. So I find that really also putting that primer on and everything will really help your makeup stay in place. And at the end I have a setting powder that'll really keep everything where it's supposed to be. Another place to get a nice good to touch up on is right underneath your brows. Because if you touch right underneath your brows, you're going to get a smooth finish up there. And I always have issues with my veins showing through and everything, so putting foundation up there is just a really nice way to go and to cover that. So then you have your base coat of foundation. Now the next step that I use is contouring. Now, with contouring, I have a very round face, so I wanted to use a type of contouring that will really bring my face in and narrow, and for that I'm going to use the Sephora Contouring 101 kit. I got this for $15 at Sephora. And with a round face, what you want to do is bring this in all the way to your jawline, make this nice arc along the side of your face with the brown. Now, I'm very pale, so I want the lightest brown, but it has several options of brown here, so you can really get whatever matches your skin tone the best, whichever is the best way to go for you. So I want to bring this in as a nice arc on my brow, and then I can also do a little bit along the hairline up here. That's again just to narrow the face. Now if you have a more oval or square shape, you can just bring it in along the cheek, under the underside of the cheekbone on either side, and then that'll be the best way to go about that. Now with highlighters, I found that the highlighter within the Sephora kit did not really match my skin tone. It matched it too perfectly. I am very pale. I'm a Minnesotan in winter, so I have another. It's called Wet n Wild Coverall Correcting Palette, and it has a highlighter on there that is much better for me in winter. In the summer I'll be able to use that Sephora palette, but until then, not so much. Now you just want to highlight. You can highlight right along the top of the cheekbones to really give you make it pop. And you can go right along the tip of your nose, up in between your brows. Okay. So that's contouring. Next, you have to blend. Now I have this brush here that I use for blending. I got this set of 13 brushes that I use. Now the nice thing about this brush is the big wide brush really allows it to blend in nicely, and I just do circular motions along my face wherever I put contour or highlighting until it all blends in. You don't want it to be too noticeably liney, and that's the nice thing about using such a big brush, is that then you really blend into your skin. So next, just to add a little pop of color, I'm going to add some blush. Now I have this blush brush that has a nice flat top, and that really allows you to get into your cheekbones really nicely. So if you start here and then just bring it up right in between that contouring and the highlighter. See, and then you have a nice pop of color. Next, I'm going to do brows. Now, a lot of people use brow pencils and stuff, but one thing that I've found as the cheapest way to go through this is to just use an eyeshadow that matches your color. The woman I bought my Mary Kay stuff from, that's what she used. It's a great, cheaper source. Now, the eyeshadow that I'm using is this great big palette, and it's from Claire's. It's the cheapest eyeshadow. It is not very well pigmented, but it somehow stays on all day. It was $20. I have over 100 colors in here, so I think it was worth it considering. Now, for brows, just take a brow pencil, which is nice and thin and shaped like so it can easily follow along your brow line, and just fill in along the brow so you get that color. Especially for me, I have a scar on my eyebrow over here, and since I have that scar, I really want to fill in this eyebrow because otherwise it looks like I have two eyebrows and it's all sparsely all up in there. So that's how your brows are done. Next up, we're going to do eyes. Now, the key, this is my everyday eye that I usually wear to school and or out and about around the day. Now, the first thing that you want to put on, what I usually do is I take a black pencil liner and line in my waterline on the top of my eye, so that way I know that when I put my liquid eyeliner on, I'm not going to have that gap that you see a lot of people have. So you just lift and draw along that waterline. Now I have contacts, so I'm really used to things being close to my eye, so if you're really not comfortable with that, you can shut your eye and just try and get as close as possible. It's just not going to be as thin of a line as you can get. Okay. Now, for the makeup part, I'm just going to take this Estee Lauder eye makeup kit, and what you'll see here, well, it was a free gift, so I can't really tell you how much it costs. It comes with whatever you buy at Macy's, but it has all your basic colors, and it has a really great set for when you're doing your eye makeup. So start off with your lightest color. I usually do this light. It's a slightly glittery white cream. So do that right on the inside of your eye for the first 1/3 of your eye. On both sides. Okay, next what you want to do, now that you have the corner of your eye, that really like brightens your eye and makes it pop. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is for this part, preferably use more of a matte color. That really helps with this part. So this part you want to go right in the crease of your eye, and that'll make your eyes look bigger and wider and add that nice little pop of color and all that stuff. So just right in the crease. I'm using a matte gray. It's a really nice basic color because it's lighter, so it's not like I'm putting black in there and really like aggressively color, just a nice color that'll really bring everything together in the end. So the next thing you want to do is take your darker color. I have a dark brown here because that's kind of, sticking with browns is a great thing for me because that's just really the color of my eyes and it makes them pop. But I have done this with every possible color. I've gone from blues to pinks, and any possible eyeshadow color. But right here on the edge, you want your darkest color. So I have this dark brown, and I'm just going to cover that last little corner of my eye with this brown. And dabbing your eyeshadow on instead of brushing is going to stop it from falling all over your face. Because trust me, I've had that happen plenty of times. Okay. So, now that we've added the lightest color, you want that middle color because there's still a spot on your eye that isn't covered. And what I like to use is I got a pack of 10 of these. They're from Sephora. They were $10. And each of them have 2 little eyeshadows in here. And in one of these is a lovely like rose gold that I love to use that you just pat it on right in the center there to bring your whole look together. So that's what ends up with the eyes. Now, next we're going to add a little bit of liquid liner just to really make it a more dramatic look. Got to make sure that everything's all in place before you add it. So you take your liquid liner, and I like to have a very thin line, usually very close to my eye, because I like my eyeshadow to make the statement instead of my eyeliner. So you bring it right along the rim. Now, this eyeliner that I'm using is quite possibly the cheapest eyeliner you can buy. It is e.l.f. $3 liquid eyeliner. It's really nice. It goes on really smoothly and lasts for most of the day. The only thing is that it's really liquidy, so it's kind of hard to work with, where sometimes you can screw it up a little bit. But it really goes on very smoothly, and that's the nice part. Okay, I'm going to give that a second to dry before I put my mascara on. And while that's drying, I'm going to take my finishing powder. So it's just a mineral powder. What this one does is it has a little hole in here so all the powder goes to the brush, and I'm just going to brush this on to make sure that everything stays in place throughout the day. Okay, next mascara. I use L'Oreal Telescopic. I like it because it has a nice thin little brush that really finds a way to really cover every single eyelash, and I like that. Now if you want at this point that you can put on fake eyelashes, I think those look great with anything, but at the moment I'm kind of low on smaller ones. I only have my ones I use for dance, and those are way too big for daily wear. And then you can just put a little bit on those lower lashes. Okay, and the last thing I want to do is apply my lips. Now what I always start off with is e.l.f. Lip Exfoliator. And it's just this sugar lipstick that really gets rid of all that dead skin and allows your lipstick to go on super smooth. It's basically a sugar scrub in lipstick form, and it feels great, and your lipstick becomes so smooth after using it. Okay, last up, I'm just going to use this darker shimmery pink just to really finish off the look. Now I don't want it to be too dark, just enough so that you can really draw attention to your lips. Well, Thank you for watching. Tune in next week and I will show different contouring for different face shapes.